welcome back to ASMR Nerd Herd. Tonight we're going on a journey together, a journey inward. We're going to be exploring something that shapes every single decision you make, every goal you chase, and every quiet moment in between. We're going to be talking about motivation, but not in the way you might be used to. This isn't about trying to force harder on yourself or through like sheer willpower. This isn't about hustle or pressure or guilt. No. Tonight is about understanding. It's about compassion. It's about gently uncovering the elegant, intricate systems your mind and body use to create and sustain your drive. And most importantly, we'll learn to work with these systems instead of constantly feeling like you're fighting within yourself. You might have noticed that as you settle in here, as you begin to allow my voice to be a gentle anchor, your mind begins to quiet down. The constant chatter, the to-do lists, the worries, they start to fade just a little. This is exactly what we want. Your brain is settling into a state of where learning becomes natural, where insights can arise without force. Brain imaging studies show that ASMR can activate brain regions linked to reward and emotional arousal, helping to create a pleasant, relaxed feeling. It reduces the mental noise, creating a perfect space for us to explore these ideas together. So just allow yourself to be here, get comfortable, and let our journey begin. So, do you feel adrift? Like you're floating in a thick, quiet fog, and you've lost sight of the shore? Perhaps there's a quiet ache inside, a feeling that the fire that once burned so brightly within you has dimmed to a faint, flickering ember. You remember having goals, you remember feeling passion, but now the reason why feels distant, forgotten. You might look at your to-do list and feel nothing but a heavy sense of overwhelming. You might think about your dreams and feel a pang of exhaustion instead of excitement. It's not laziness. It's a deeper, more profound sense of disconnection. You feel unmotivated, but you don't know why. If this sounds familiar, I want you to know that you are not alone, and you are not broken. Tonight, we're going to find that fire together. We're not going to force it, but gently, carefully coax it back to life. Or journey through the 3 secret layers of your motivation, moving from the most ancient primal instincts all the way to the core of who you are. And we're going to find the map that leads back to your drive. And we're going to rebuild it piece by piece. So just relax. Let the fog begin to thin. Our journey starts now. To truly understand our motivation, we begin at the very beginning. The very, very beginning of time. It's the deepest, most ancient layer. This is the foundation upon which everything is built. The layer of biology. The layer of survival. At its core, your motivation comes from a single Scientists call this beautiful state homeostasis. Think of it like a thermostat in your home. You set it to the perfect temperature, not too hot, not too cold. When the air in the room gets chilly, the thermostat detects this change, this imbalance, and the heating system clicks on, gently warming the space until that perfect balance is restored. When it gets too warm, the air conditioning activates to cool it back down. It's an automatic, elegant system designed to maintain stability. Your body does this with everything: your temperature, your hydration levels, your energy from food, your need for rest and sleep. These are what psychologists call primary or biological drives. When any of these systems drift from its optimal set point, your brain detects disruption. Imagine you've been working for hours and you've forgotten to drink water. Your body's water levels drop. This creates an internal signal, a state of tension, of discomfort. This state of tension is what we call a drive. It's an internal pressure that compels you to act. And what's so fascinating is that you don't have to consciously think. My body has changed. I must now engage in this water-seeking behavior. No, your brilliant brain just translates this complex biological signal into a simple, universal feeling: thirst. I'm thirsty. That feeling of thirst is uncomfortable. That gnawing feeling of hunger is distracting. That heavy-lidded feeling of fatigue is overwhelming. This discomfort isn't your enemy. It's a powerful, primal motivator. It's your body's way of whispering and then shouting that it needs something to return the balance. The moment you take a sip of cool water, the moment you eat a nourishing meal, the moment you finally lay down to rest, the tension is reduced. The discomfort dissolves, dissipates. Your system returns to its state of equilibrium or homeostasis. And in that moment of sweet, sweet relief, your brain learns a critical lesson. This behavior works. This behavior restores balance. And so the action is reinforced, making it more likely you'll do it again the next time the drive appears. This is the core of what is known as drive reduction theory. This is the absolute bedrock of all motivation. Every complex ambition you have, every creative project you've dreamed of, every long-term goal you set is all built upon the simple biological foundation. So why does this matter when you're feeling unmotivated to, say, finish a report for work or clean the house or go to the gym? Because of this foundational layer is out of balance. Nothing else can function properly. Think about it. How can you possibly feel motivated to pursue a lofty, abstract goal when your body is screaming for sleep? How can you find the mental energy to be creative and solve complex problems when you're running on fumes, dehydrated, and undernourished? Often, when we feel a general foggy lack of motivation, we blame our character. We tell ourselves we're lazy or undisciplined. But sometimes the answer is far simpler and far more compassionate. Sometimes the fog of unmotivation is simply your body's check engine light signaling a fundamental imbalance. You are not a machine that can run indefinitely. You are a biological organism governed by these ancient, powerful rhythms. So the first step in rebuilding your motivation is to honor this foundation. It's to treat yourself, to treat your basic needs as an inconvenient interruption to your productivity, but as the sacred, non-negotiable pillars that support everything else. Sleep, nourishment, hydration, the rest are not luxuries. They are the very fuel to yourself, to life. Before you demand high-level performance from your mind, you must first ask your body, gently and with kindness, what it needs. Let this deep grounding sound, this heartbeat, remind you of that connection. A connection of your own biology, a connection to the simple, profound wisdom of your body. I invite you now, just for a moment, to do a quiet scan. No judgment, just gentle awareness. Are you tired? Have you been putting off rest? Are you hungry? Have you nourished your body with good food today? Are you thirsty? Well, drink water. But seriously, is your space comfortable and safe? Just notice you don't need to fix anything right now. The simple act of noticing, of acknowledgement, these foundational needs is the first and most crucial step. You're reestablishing a communication with the deepest, most primal layer of your own motivation. You are coming home to your body. Very good. Now that we've honored our foundation, our biological drives, let's gently move up to the next layer. Let's explore the world that exists on top of that foundation, the world of our thoughts, our goals, our rewards, and our connections to others. Let's explore the psychological layer of motivation. If our biological needs are the foundation, then this next layer is the engine that drives us forward into the world. It's the intricate systems of rewards, anticipations, and social current events that shape our day-to-day actions. And at the heart of this engine is a very famous and very misunderstood little molecule. Dopamine. Dopamine. Now you've probably heard dopamine referred to as like the pleasure chemical, but that's not quite the whole story. And the real story is much more interesting. More recent research shows us that dopamine isn't just the pleasure of having something. It's about the motivation of wanting something. It's the chemical desire of seeking, curiosity. It's what propels you to take action. Think about it carefully because it's a crucial distinction. Dopamine is released not just when you receive a reward, but more powerfully in anticipation of a reward. It's that feeling of excitement when you're on a way to meet a good friend. It's that little spark of focus when you feel good to work on a project you're excited about. It's that engine of anticipation. Your brain is a master of learning, and it operates through something we call a dopamine loop. This loop has a few key parts, and you've experienced it 100 times a day. It becomes or begins with a trigger or a cue. This can be something in your environment, the sound of notification on your phone, or an internal feeling like boredom or stress. The trigger signals to your brain that a potential reward is available. That signal then creates a craving, a feeling of wanting. This is your dopamine system kicking into gear, creating the desire to act. The craving motivates a behavior. You pick up your phone, you open the app, you scroll. And finally, if that behavior is followed by a reward, what you liked in interesting news or ASMR nerd heard. The dopamine is released, and that entire loop is reinforced. The trigger, craving, behavior, reward, again and again. But here's what makes this system so incredibly powerful and so easy to hijack. Your brain doesn't need a consistent reward to keep the loop going. In fact, research shows that unpredictable or variable rewards are far more effective at driving dopamine release than predictable ones. Think of a slot machine. If it paid out every single time, it would be boring. It would never pay out. You'd walk away. But because you never know when the reward is coming, your dopamine system stays on high alert. The anticipation, the maybe this time, is what keeps you pulling the lever, right? This is the very system. This very system is built in so many aspects of the world. The endless scroll of social media. You never know what the next post will be. The notifications on your phone. You never know which one will be an important message or junk mail or a notification. Video games, shopping deals. They are all designed to harness the power of your dopamine system and creating powerful loops of wanting you to keep engaged. This system evolved for a very good reason. It motivated our ancestors to explore, to hunt, to seek out new resources, even when success wasn't guaranteed. That drive to seek fueled by dopamine was essential for our survival. But now, in a world of constant digital triggers, this same system can leave us feeling drained, distracted, and pulled in a million different directions, often away from our deeper goals. We can get caught in dopamine loops that provide short-term satisfaction, but leaving us feeling empty and unmotivated for the things that truly matter. This is also the layer where our social world comes into play. As social creatures, we are deeply motivated by external validation, praise from a boss, acceptance from our friends, a sense of belonging within a community. These are powerful rewards that desire to attain them and the fear of losing them can be a huge driver of motivation. These are known as secondary drives, things like money, social approval, or achievement, which we learn to value through their association with primary needs. The sounds you're hearing now, or the typing that you're doing, these are the sounds of this layer, sounds of planning, of working, of organizing our lives to seek out these external and social rewards. Understanding this layer is incredibly empowering. It shows that your feelings of distraction or your impulse to procrastinate by scrolling on your phone are not a moral failing. You're simply contending with a more powerful ancient system in your brain that is being expertly triggered by your environment. So the second step in rebuilding your motivation is to become a gentle observer of your own dopamine loops. What are your triggers? Is it the time of day? Is it a certain feeling, like stress or boredom? What are these behaviors? What do you find yourself doing automatically? Is it a reward? What is the reward of doing that said action? Or is it a moment of distraction, a feeling of connection, a bit of novel information? Let me know in the comments. You don't need to judge these loops, just watch them. By simply bringing awareness to them, you just begins to lose that automatic grip it has on you. And you can start to ask yourself, is this loop serving my deeper goals? Is this where I truly want my energy to go? When you understand these mechanics of this engine, you can begin to steer it instead of letting it drive you. You can start to consciously design your own healthier loops that align with what you truly want to achieve. And now we go deeper. We've explored center, the core, the final layer, is the most powerful of all because it's the most biggest source of motivation that doesn't depend on external rewards or biological comfort. This is the layer of intrinsic drive, the layer of purpose, the layer of identity. At the very heart of your being, there is a source of motivation that is profound, resilient, and deeply personal. This intrinsic motivation, the drive to do something simply for the joy of doing it, for the satisfaction it brings, for the way it aligns with who you are. This is the deepest and most powerful layer because it's directly connected to your sense of self. Think about it this way. What you want to achieve can change. The rewards you seek can lose their appeal. But who you believe you are, that shapes everything. If you believe you're a creative person, you'll feel a natural pull towards creative acts, not for applause, but because it's an expression of your essence. If you see yourself as a kind person, performing acts of kindness won't feel like a chore. It will feel like you're simply being yourself. Conversely, if you feel like you're not a morning person, that identity creates the motivation to stay in bed. If you believe I am not disciplined, that identity makes it harder to build consistent habits. This is the secret of identity-based motivation. Your actions tend to fall in line with your beliefs about who you are, and it's a powerful feedback loop. But here's the most beautiful, and liberating truth. Your identity is not fixed. It is not carved in stone. Your identity is a story. It's a story that you tell yourself, and a story that you can write with gentle and deliberate intention. It begins to rewrite or write. But how do you write it? How do you rewrite it? Well, through your actions. Most of us think that it's through beliefs. The beliefs must change first and the actions will follow, but psychology, particularly something called self-perception theory, suggests it often works the other way around. We learn who we are by observing what we do. Do something once and it's just an action, but do it consistently and it becomes a habit. And when that habit is repeated, it starts to cast a vote for a new identity. Every time you choose to go for a walk, even a short one, you are casting a vote for the identity. I am a healthy person. Every time you write one sentence in a journal, you are casting a vote for I am a writer. Every time you complete one small focused task, you cast a vote for I am a disciplined person. These are not huge, monumental shifts. They are small, quiet acts of becoming. But each one sends a signal back to your brain, providing evidence for the new story. Your brain, in its effort to create consistent self-image, begins to integrate this evidence and it starts to think, oh, I guess this is who we are now. And as that new identity takes root, the motivation to act in alignment with it becomes more and more effortless. You're no longer forcing yourself to do something. You are simply acting in accordance with who you now believe yourself to be. The internal friction dissipates. This is the source of true, lasting motivation. It comes from the deep alignment between your actions and your identity. It's fueled not by the promise of an external reward, but by the quiet, profound satisfaction of being true to yourself. Now, I researched neuroscience hints that this type of intrinsic motivation is deeply connected to our core psychological needs, the need for autonomy, which is the feeling of being in control of our own lives, the need for competence, the feeling that we are good at what we do, and the need for relatedness, the feeling of connection to others. When our goals and habits satisfy the needs of our engagement becomes deep and sustainable. The soft, gentle sounds you hear now. They are meant to create space. Space for introspection. Space to connect the deepest, deepest, deepest parts of yourself. So I invite you in this quiet moment to reflect, putting aside what you think you should be putting aside, the expectation of others. What do you truly want to be? What qualities do you wish to embody? Is it kindness? Is it creativity? Is it courage? Is it discipline? Presence? You don't need a grand plan. Just choose one identity you would like to step into. Now think of one very, very, very small action you could take tomorrow. A tiny vote you could cast for that identity. If you want to be a reader, maybe the action is just reading one page, as funny as it sounds. If you want to be a mindful person, maybe the action is taking 3 conscious breaths. If you want to be a tidy person, maybe the action is putting that one single thing and put it back in its place. Let it be so small, so minuscule that it feels effortless, almost effortless. The goal right now isn't achievement, it isn't completion. The goal is evidence. The goal is to begin gently and tell your brain a new story about who you are. This is the heart of it all. This is your inner fire. It may have dimmed, but it has never gone out, and you have the power with every small choice you make to tend to it, to nurture it, to help it grow bright once more. As we continue on this journey together, if this time is proving helpful for you, I would be so grateful if you would consider subscribing to the channel. It allows me to continue creating these spaces for rest and reflection for you. And perhaps you could leave a comment below sharing one small identity, one vote you plan to cast to yourself tomorrow. Reading them would be a wonderful source of motivation for me, and it creates a beautiful community within the nerd herd. Now let's return to our quiet space. We have journeyed through the 3 layers, the biological foundation of homeostasis, the psychological engine of dopamine, and the deep core of identity. Understanding these layers is like having a map, but even with a map, sometimes we find ourselves stuck in the mud. Motivation breaks down. The fog rolls in. Often this happens when the layers are out of alignment. Your identity says, I want to be healthy, but your dopamine loops are pulling you towards the couch and your phone. Or your biological foundation is depleted from lack of sleep, making every single task feel like climbing a mountain. So what do we do in these moments? How do we get unstuck? This is where we build bridges between the layers. Here are some gentle, practical strategies grounded in the psychology we explored tonight. Think of it as tools to gently nudge your system back into alignment. The first strategy is perhaps the most powerful, and it comes from clinical psychology. It's called behavioral activation. It sounds complex, but its principle is beautifully simply put. Act before you feel motivated. Most of us feel that we must wait for the feeling of motivation, inspiration, for us to perform that action. But research shows time and time again that it often works in the opposite direction. Action creates motivation. When you take one small step, your brain chemistry begins to change. The dopamine engine starts to turn over. The loop of action and reward begins. And suddenly, continuing feels easier than it did when you're standing still. So when you're feeling completely unmotivated, don't argue with the feeling. Don't wait for it to go away. Just do one thing, the smallest possible thing. Open the book, put on your running shoes, wash one dish. Just one. The feeling of motivation will meet you there. The second strategy is to break large tasks into tiny pieces. Overwhelm is the biggest enemy when it comes to motivation. When a project feels too big, it can trigger a stress response. I know it. And it effectively shuts down the thoughtful, goal-oriented part of your brain. But when you break that project down into small chunks, something magical happens. This is the principle behind techniques like the Pomodoro method, where you can work for a focused burst of, say, 20 minutes, and then take 5-minute breaks. Each small completion, each 20-minute block, a small, simple victory. It gives you a little hit of dopamine, a small reward that says you're making progress. That break allows your brain to reset and recharge. You're no longer fighting your brain limits. You're working with its natural rhythm of focus and rest. Third strategy is environmental design. Your environment is constantly sending silent signals to your brain, triggering your dopamine loops. Your phone on the desk triggers the loop of check notifications. The messy room triggers a feeling of overwhelm and inaction. You can gently guide your motivation by curating your space. If you want to read more, leave a book on your pillow. If you want to drink more water, then place a glass on your nightstand. If you find your phone distracting, well, put it in another room. I know. Just for an hour. You are changing the cues your brain receives, making it easier to start the loops you want and harder to fall into the ones you don't. It's a quiet, compassionate way of guiding your future self. The fourth strategy is the use of if-then planning. This is the wonderfully simply way to create automatic momentum and bypass the friction of decision making. The format is simple. If trigger, then I will action. For example, if I pour my coffee, my morning coffee, then I will open my planner for 2 minutes. Or if I feel the wave of overwhelmness, then I will stand up and do 5 stretches. These simple statements create a pre-programmed response in your brain. They lower the mental energy required to start. You don't have to think. You don't have to decide. Your brain simply follows the path you've already laid out for it. It's like building little bridges for your motivation to cross throughout the day. And finally, and this is so important, embrace strategic rest. We live in a culture that often sees rest as laziness, but as we learned, your brain and body need to reset. When you step away from work, when you walk in nature, or just stare out the window for 5 minutes, you are not being unproductive. You are just following a different path of your brain to come online. This is often called the default mode network, the part of your brain that is active during rest and is crucial for the creative problem process. Have you ever struggled with a problem for hours only to have a solution pop in your head while you're in the shower? This is your brain's resting at work. So you please refrain your breaks. They are not a failure of discipline. They are an essential part of the motivational process. Give your mind space it needs to connect the dots. All these strategies are acts of kindness to yourself. They work because they respect the 3 layers we've explored today, this evening. They work with your biology. They steer your psychology engine, and they make it easier to live in alignment with your chosen identity. As we come to close our journey together tonight, I want to guide you through one final gentle mental exercise. This isn't about effort. It's not about effort at all. It's about integration. It's like giving your entire motivation system a gentle, loving rest. So get as comfortable as you possibly can. Let your body feel heavy and supported. First, I want you to bring your mind to a goal that truly matters to you. Not huge, overwhelming one, just something meaningful and manageable. Perhaps it's a goal that has been shrouded in the fog of unmotivation. Just hold that gently in your awareness. Don't force it, just let it be there. Now let's connect this goal to our first layer, your biological foundation. Ask yourself, what does my body need to feel supported in pursuing this? Does it need more sleep, better nourishment, more movement, more quiet rest, more ASMR? Just notice without any judgment if any of these foundational needs are being neglected. See them as, or should I say, don't see them as obstacles, but as the essential support system of your goal. Now let's talk about that second layer, your psychological engine. Think about one incredibly small action you could take tomorrow related to this goal. An action so small, it creates no resistance. What could that be? And what tiny simple reward could you give yourself right after? Maybe the reward is as simple as taking 3 deep breaths and acknowledging I did it. We are just looking to gently turn the key in the ignition of your dopamine system. A tiny spark of progress, that's all. Finally, let's connect this goal to our third and deepest layer, your identity. Who do you want to become by pursuing this goal? Not what will you get, but who will you be? A writer, an artist, a healthier person, a more present friend. Let that identity settle into your awareness. Feel what it would be like to embody that version of yourself. Say it quietly to yourself. I am becoming, and fill in the blank. You see, motivation is not a single thing. It is the harmony of these 3 layers playing together. It is a supported body, an engaged mind, an aligned self. As you drift towards sleep tonight, your brain will continue to process everything we've explored. The insights will settle, the connections will deepen, and you may just find yourself tomorrow when you wake up things a little different. Not because you're forcing yourself, but because now you have a deeper understanding of your inner world. You're no longer an NPC. Well, thank you for joining me on this journey, and thank you for giving yourself this time. Now, just rest, my friends. Let these final words wash you as gentle affirmations. My body deserves rest and care. It is the foundation of my strength. I can create small amounts of progress and celebrate them. Every small action I take is a vote for the person I am becoming. I am worthy of my own goals. My inner fire is always here, ready to be tended to. Sleep well and be kind to yourself. You are on your way. Thank you, my friends, and thank you for listening to ASMR Nerd Herd. I want to take this final few seconds to show my deepest appreciation to all of you, and most importantly, my members who have pledged to ASMR Nerd Herd. Fax Incognito, Left Alone, Kim Anderson, and Skylar Johnson. I appreciate you guys so much. And thank you for supporting the channel. And to my many subscribers, thank you so much for watching this to the very end if you have made it this far. Have a good night, my friends. And I'll see you guys in the